good night. So I don't know if you saw, but I put this really cool thing on in our comments, which is like video commenting. It's something new and different with Opus. Hello, Cleo. So I actually put the QR code right there that you can scan and then record yourself on your phone answering the question, which is why do you love cozies? Because I thought it would be fun. I thought it would be interesting. I don't know what else I would really put there, but like, I think it's cool. Hello, Lisa. How are you doing today? I am super, super shocked that we are at the end. I know that I say that every single month. Hey, how are you? So excited that everybody is here. Hello. Hi, Alicia. How are you? I am so, so excited to talk about the book tonight. What are you guys, what's going on in y'all's life? How's everything doing? What are you up to? I just want to know all of the things. I feel like we haven't chatted in a while. Hey, Ellen, I hope you are having a good evening. Anybody have anything fun or new going on? Let me know. Let's see. I don't know if you guys saw on my Instagram, but I did a bookish photo shoot that I am in love with, and that has probably been my most favorite thing that I have ever done. Like, I got like a sneak peek of three of the images, and I am so in love. This is the one I shared on Facebook. Oh my goodness. And then there's another one here that I haven't shared out yet. And then there's this one right here. I'm like, I was feeling myself. I was very, very, very excited. Alicia, waiting on spring and warmer weather. I know it just keeps going back and forth, and my allergies have been kicking my butt. Thank you so much, Lisa. Hey, Amber, how are you? Thank you, Alicia. Hey, Jenna. It was so much fun. I highly recommend that if anybody loves actual like books as much as I do, you should. Thank you. Hey, Renee, you should all go and do something like that. It was just a lot of fun. All right. So we've been reading hey Stacy, thank you so much. So this month was middle grade mystery March. It was like a mashup. I got asked to host for both of the readathons, and I was like, oh my goodness, how am I going to read so many books? And it just so happened that we had chosen middle grade mysteries for this month. And I think that it was a very, very, very good choice of sort of a theme. So I want to know what is your rating for Nooks and Crannies? If you want to add to the poll that I'm going to put right here, is your rating? I really want to know. So you can put it just with quotation marks around it. I would love to know. So yes. Oh, we've got 1-4. I'm pretty sure I gave it a 4.5. I really, really, really enjoyed it. I thought, like, as we were going, there were some instances where I was like, oh, am I not gonna like this book? But okay, as you guys are putting in what you thought of it, I'm going to read the synopsis for everyone. For those that are just stopping by to hang out with us and weren't actually able to finish it in time. So we've got our main character, Tabitha Crumb, the neglected only child of two parents straight out of a Roald Dahl book. doesn't have a friend in the world except for her pet mouse, Pemberley, whom she loves dearly. But on the day she receives one of 6 invitations to the country estate of the wealthy Countess Camilla de Moss, her life changes forever. Upon the children's arrival at the sprawling, possibly haunted mansion, it turns out that the countess has a very, very big secret, one that will change their lives forever. And then the children begin disappearing one by one. So Tabitha takes a cue from her favorite detective novels and, with Pemberley by her side, attempts to solve the case and rescue the other children, who might just be her first real friends ever. Oh, okay. Look. Oh my goodness. It looks like it was the majority, like 4.5 stars. That makes my heart super, super happy. I love that. I love that so flippin' much. That makes me I feel like we've been doing really, really good at like I don't know, choices lately. I feel like we have, um, which is always really, really pleasing to me, right? Like, I feel like sometimes we have duds, but like lately we've been having some good choices. Um, I wish that it was a series, right? Like, as I was writing discussion questions for tonight, I normally always end my discussion questions with, "Are you going to continue the series?" And I am so bummed that it's not like it's not a series. Like this book came out I think it came out a while ago. Like this is a backlist book. Um it came out in 2016. So like that was quite 2015. That was quite a while ago. And I feel like it should have been a series. Like I thought it would be so cool to sort of like follow Tabitha, right? And we'll talk about like where we would follow her more as we continue, but yeah, I really wish that it was a series, and it looks like you all also wish that it had been a series as well. uh so we didn't have like a whole bunch of characters in this book, which I thought was really nice. Sort of like a good change of pace. I thought that it felt very Agatha Christie-esque to me, almost like a locked room kind of mystery, or a locked mansion kind of mystery, which I was totally on board for. So we've got our main characters, which is Tabitha. She's our main character, her mouse Pemberley, who I had a very big soft spot for. We've got Mortimer Crumb and Agatha Crumb, Tab's father and mother, who I hated with like all of the fiber of my being. I was just mortified. I'm not sure I understand. I know, Google. I was mortified by what, like, the things that they would say to Tabitha. I don't know if you guys, because we didn't make it official that we would read the book on the Fable app, but for those that did join over on the Fable app, I actually purchased the book through Fable. And what's really cool is that um I can click like open ebook, and it'll say like, do you want to read it with the Cozy Escape Book Club or just by yourself? And as I was reading it, I would highlight things and like make comments and stuff. And I thought it was really cool that some of you guys were commenting back, because there were so many things that I was absolutely flabbergasted by. Like, my notes, I said like when they said to her, where was it? Uh, remember, men don't like readers. They like pretty. Uh, I was just like, oh my gosh, like, what in the absolute, like, world? I couldn't I don't know. There were so many things that I highlighted on here that I was just like, it was very, very hard. I also, during the exact same time of reading the book, I was also reading Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and I read The Fantastic Mr. Fox and the Charlie and the Glass Elevator. So, like, I had all of those worlds, and I read Matilda, all of those worlds in my mind, and it just, like, it very much in that vein. I enjoyed it so much that I looked for books by the same author. I ended up ordering from Amazon Kate Milford's Green Glass House. It's another middle grade mystery. You're going to have to tell us what you think about it, Lisa. Like, is it good? Also, how's your mom doing? I hope that she's doing fantastic. I hated them too. If Perot met Doll as a kid, I could not agree more. They were plain awful. They were. It was like a combo of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and then there was none with a Harry Potter parents. That hit the nail on the head, Jenna. Like, I agree. So we've got all of these people. We also have the other 5 children. So there's Oliver Appleby, there's Viola Dale, Francis Wellington, Barnaby Trundle, and Edward Herringbone. So let's get into this. So one of the things that I love with middle grade, or just in general, and I want you guys to tell me what you think, is what did you think of the book's use of chapter titles and quotes? I am a ginormous fan of quotes at the beginning of chapters. Someone who does this really, really well is Ellery Adams. Does it really well with the quotes. It sort of like sets the pace with what that chapter is going to be about. And I loved the fact that all of the quotes were from, like, I think all of them were from Inspector Percival Pensive. I kind of want to read that mystery series that Tabitha is in love with. Like, here's chapter 20's quote. Stressful situations cause alterations in behavior that reveal true character tips. If a person gradually begins acting like someone else altogether, you may very well find that they are someone else altogether. And then it says, Inspector Percival Pensive, the case of the pickled mouth priest. It just adds that extra layer to get you into the book. Like, it just gives you that extra oomph. I loved it so much. Spencer says, didn't get a chance to read the book, but I love books with chapter titles and quotes. Kind of hints at what's going to happen. Exactly. I loved it so much. And the other thing that I really, really loved was the illustrations that went along with the books. Now, the chapters. There weren't a lot of illustrations, which I'm also happy with, because there's a fine line between reading an illustrated version of a book versus like the illustrations adding on that extra layer, that extra depth of what the author wanted you to see of it. Does that make sense? I really like that. I did not mind the quotes at the beginning of the chapters. I loved the quotes and helped Tabitha deal with situations that befell her. I felt such a kinship to Tabitha with how close she felt to the fictional characters in those books. I really, 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 I love that aspect of it, and it's smart writing. Thank you for asking. Mom is recovering at home, but is wheelchair bound, and Dad is in the hospital being treated for congestive heart failure. He seems to be responding well to the treatment. Well, I will continue having them in my thoughts, Lisa. I'm so happy that you were able to come tonight. We've missed you the past couple of times, and I'm super happy that that you're able to be here tonight. I really like the chapter quotes, especially in this case. Yes. The quotes give us an idea of stories Tabitha has been reading, so I liked them. I really, really, really just want to read the darn series, right? Like, I was like, you did so good that now I want to read like those on top of this actually being a series. But of course, it's not actually going to be a series, which makes me sad. Please keep them, myself, in your thoughts and prayers. Of course, everybody is sending you all the love because we love you so much. Um, so uh let's dive in a little bit deeper. So what did you think of Tabitha as a main character? Did you find her relatable? So at the beginning of the book, we find that Tabitha and another boy, Barnaby, from her school got a letter from this great countess saying that she requires them and their family to basically spend a weekend at her mansion, but it doesn't really give very much details as to why. When Tabitha gets home that day, her parents are packing up and basically telling her that they no longer want her and they're going to leave her at an orphanage to be a servant while they go on an extended vacation. It was very, very much a Matilda vibe. Like at the end when the Wormwoods are trying to leave town because they swindled too many people with the car business kind of thing. Like that's what I got. I feel like this author really leaned heavy on inspiration from that series. And I loved Tabitha as a character. I found her relatable. She was just a very, very she still was a kid, mind you. Like she didn't give me like sadness vibes or whatever. Like I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, this is just another kid. I felt I felt sympathy for her. Um Everybody is sending you all of the love. I loved Tabitha and how she dealt with some most horrible people. Words are hard today, apparently. I liked Tabitha, and her situation is familiar to what a lot of kids who have horrible parents deal with. I loved Tabitha. She was strong. And I'll be thinking of you and your family. Health issues are very difficult whenever they're with your parents. I could not agree more. Um, so it seems like we all pretty much liked her. This author was very, very good at getting me to hate the adults in the book. I was very much like, especially as a parent now, I have so much more anger towards people who are not kind to children. Like as an educator, I've always been that way, but like now it's like fiercely so. All I wanted to do was hold her and adopt her as my own. Um, I love her. She is so strong. She's able to deal with horrible parents and was compassionate to Mary. She was, I really liked Tabitha. So let's fast forward. And while I'm describing a little bit more, I want you guys to think of who your favorite character was and why they were your favorite character. So this four other children other than Barnaby and Tabitha end up showing up at the hotel prior to going to the Countess's mansion, and no one really knows why these children are specifically picked. We've got two of them are very, very best of friends because their family has grown up together. So that would be Viola, the charitable young lady, and Edward Herringbone, the hilarious, very, very smart boy. Two of them are extremely horrible. Frances Wellington, I put spoiled girl, and Barnaby Trundle, the short-tempered boy who is a bully to Tabitha. Their parents sort of match their personalities as well, except for Tabitha. Tabitha does not match her parents' personalities at all. Most of the parents are wondering like what they're going to get from the Countess, but the only reason why Tabitha's parents even show up and pause their trip is because they think that they're going to get something from the Countess. So that was something that I liked the suspense of that. And I felt like it was a good setting for the book. I also I'm going to skip a couple of questions down, and you guys can type in your answers for your favorite characters because I really want to know. The book's setting and atmosphere, did it enhance the story for you? For me, it 1,000,000% enhanced the story. Like them being snowed in a sort of like far off state. Like it gave me those vibes, and I love that the book was set in the 1900s instead of common like now, because I feel like it gave it that much more credence or credit because it was it made sense as to why they couldn't go anywhere. Automobiles were just now hitting the market to where some people were able to have more than one, and they still weren't reliable. And it made it, I feel like, if the setting and the time period of the story were written any later in the 1900s, that I don't feel like I would get the locked mansion, spooky kind of feel that uh were has like as it was being in the 1900s. All right, so who was your favorite character and why? Let's see. Pemberley, because he was a good assistant to Tabitha in her investigation and very cute. Pemberley, because he is a mouse. I mean, enough said. It definitely enhanced the story. I liked the setting of the book, and it enhanced the story. Now, Barnaby, I didn't think he was so bad as his parents were also horrid. Yes, I would agree with that. Obviously, I loved Tabitha, but second to her, I liked Viola. She's not perfect, but she tries to do the right thing. The snowstorm, the mansion, the time period all made the story flow together well. It gave the perfect vibes. The story would be very different set in modern times. I mean, just cell phones or a landline is totally different. You guys, my favorite character was Edward Herringbone. I loved him to the core. I loved all of his scientific facts. I loved like how clueless he was to how those scientific facts affect others around him. I loved his love for Viola and how he was like, you don't need to lose weight. We just like to eat. We like good food. We want to try this. Like, he was the most genuine, authentic, real, like, funny, awkward character in the book. And I lived for when he was on the page. I enjoyed him. I enjoyed him immensely, and I just kind of wanted to like hang out with him and see what he was all about. Of course, I absolutely loved Pemberley, and I was so upset. Guys, I almost DNF'd the book. And you guys know, if you read it, what I'm talking about, and I'm going to get to it in a minute, but let's reel it in, Courtney. Let's reel it in. So, as I'm continuing, I want you guys to tell me, what did you guys think of the mystery element or the twist of this book? And let me know in the comments. But so they finally get to the mansion. It's starting to snow a little bit, but the parents are there. They're there for dinner. Tabitha walks in, and in the dining hall, there is an older lady who doesn't seem to be talking. And we find by the Countess that it is Mary the maid, who had had a stroke while getting into the Countess's office, and not to worry. Tabitha immediately becomes very, very concerned and generous to her, like really making sure that she's okay. And that's when we really start feeling like something's off, is during that dinner, when the Countess is well known for her generosity and her kindness and her um, love of the staff. But what the kids are seeing that night is something that is absolutely, completely different. The Countess tells the parents that she knows their secret, and the secret comes out that all of the kids have been adopted. And of course, at this point, those 6 children had no idea that they had been adopted, that it was such a shock, a guttural shock to a lot of them. Um, and it really showed who the parents really were. Tabitha finds out that her parents basically adopted her because they thought that she would be young and beautiful and be able to get them a good dowry, which just shows how even more horrible they are. But basically, the Countess says, okay, one of you is my grandchild, and I'm going to spend the weekend with the children. The parents are being kicked out of the house and told that that they can come back at the end of the weekend. And by the end of the weekend, she will know who her grandchild is, and that they will get I think it was £100,000 of money, and they will come and basically come live with her. I I did not see that coming at all. I loved the twist upon twist. There were multiple little mysteries within the murder mystery. I thought the mystery was very good, better than some of my most recent adult mysteries. I agree. What a way to find out you were adopted, right? Like, holy moly. The mystery was great, very twisty, but not so much that it becomes random, which can happen in Cozy sometimes. Everything has a purpose and made sense in the end. I couldn't agree more. I think I liked the mystery of the house more than the mystery. Liked both, more intrigued by the house and the Countess. Yes. Um, I liked the mystery. I figured out Tabitha was the grandchild, but didn't figure out that Oliver is her twin brother and another grandchild. Right? Holy moly. Alicia, I agree. So we find out that the Countess's son had run away with a woman who was a maid, and had a child with her. They had gotten married and everything, and then they were killed, and that child was given to a foster home. And the Countess did all of this research and basically narrowed it down to these 6 babies during this time. Then these are the only ones that could potentially be her grandchild. And I loved this mystery. So the Countess gets more and more crazy, right? Like, she gets more and more just like psychotic, having her knives, belittling the staff, the cook. She is even hateful towards the children, but she's trying to say that she wants a grandchild. Like, she's very back and forth in her emotions and in her demeanor, and it's very, very hard to sort of keep up with how she's feeling. And so the first night, everybody goes to bed. They wake up the next morning and Barnaby is missing. And it has now started extremely snowing, and all of this winter warning weather and everything has come in. And the Countess doesn't seem very concerned at all that Barnaby is missing. She was like, well, he probably left and ran, and he's not really even, he's probably not my grandkid. Frances is trying to suck up to the Countess, already calling her grandmother. Everyone is very, very just confused. The Countess says, whoever ends up being their grandchild, she's now changed her mind and said, you're going to be living with me forever. And that really freaks out the kids. And then she says, okay, we are going to meet, or I think this happened before they all fell asleep. They all met in the library, or the library area, for drinks, and they brought in Mary, who seems to be withering away a little bit more. And the electricity goes out. Everybody sort of freaks out when the electricity comes back on. Mary is killed over and dead. And nobody knows why. Nobody really knows anything about her, and the Countess sort of acts as though it's no big deal that she had a stroke and was going to die anyway, and makes Philip, the waiter, the butler, put her in the garden shed. And this is just where it gets like, it towed the line for me on middle grade. Did it at any point for any of you guys toe the line of middle grade? I want to know. So she basically says, okay, everybody go to bed. They wake up the next morning, and then she tells them that she's going to interview them one by one, and that they better know something specific about when they were adopted, because one of them is her grandchild, right? And Tabitha is being told that she's last. So she kind of has to wait to really meet with the Countess. And Tabitha does what Tabitha does. She starts snooping, and she finds these secret passages behind the walls. And I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. And like, there's not a lot of dust there, which means that somebody's been going in and out of the walls. And she finds that she can peek into the library through one of the portraits, and she witnesses some of the kids talking, and she can see inside the kitchen and inside the Countess's office as she's interviewing people. And she notices that that the hallways go to multiple places within the mansion, which I just thought was so flipping cool. Sorry, that's Alex. I loved that so much. It just like filled my childhood just heart of like those secret passages. And she, as we find, the story goes on, Barnaby goes missing, and then Frances starts going missing. We realize that Frances, before she goes missing, is a kleptomaniac and keeps like stealing things. And she gets basically taken as she's going through the Countess's bedroom the next day. And like all of these things are coming about. And I thought that it was really, really, really well done. You didn't know who was who was a bad guy, who was a good guy. And then another child gets taken, Viola gets taken, and Oliver and Tabitha start getting like really, really connected. And she thinks maybe he can be like a true friend. And they start doing a little bit more sleuthing together on ways to try and like get out of the mansion before they get stolen too. And the Countess decides that she's going to lock all of the kids in their rooms. And when she comes in, she sees that Pemberley is in the room. And this is the part that utterly broke my heart, when she smacked Pemberley and he didn't move. I was mortified. I almost DNF'd the book, guys. I don't do well with like animals dying or, children getting hurt. Like, there's a reason why I read cozies a lot of the time, right? Like, I want cozy murder. I want like murder off the page. But like when she like discussed in detail the non-moving body of Pemberley, I was absolutely gutted. Ivy says that it did toe the line. Amber, I loved the secret passageways. I thought that it was a good middle grade mystery. I loved the mystery within a mystery, secret passages, and a library full of Percival Pensive novels, a girl's absolute dream. I was so sad about it. Renee, I recently watched The Green Mile and I cried. It became too much. I couldn't agree more. It broke my absolute heart. I was scared the mouse was dead. I was so scared. Like, I literally thought that, like, just my guttural reaction. If you were on the Fable app and you saw me post about it, like you saw, I was distraught. I was not okay. I felt bad for Tabitha when she thought Pemberley died. It just, spoiler alert, Pemberley did not die. He is a heroic mouse, and I love him so. But I really did think that that something had happened to him. But all right, let's wrap it up. Let's wrap up some of the mystery. Alex really, really wants to see me. I'm so sorry, guys. So we find out that the person who is playing to be the Countess is actually the old cook of the house, who fell upon the real Countess, Mary, having had a stroke in her office, and took now as the time to sort of make a switch. The Countess switched her staff every 6 months, so a whole new group of staff was about to come in, and the only two people that knew who the Countess really was Philip the butler and the cook. We find that the Countess is not just Mary, though. The Countess is two people, twin sisters. And the one that passed away was the one whose son, was the one who wrote to all of the families to try and get all of the grandchildren to the mansion so that the sister who is still alive, who is the noises behind the wall. I'm so sorry if you can hear Alex. He's very upset. He really wants me. She is the one taking the children and bringing them up to her room and everything in the attic. Basically, they found that they were working for Scotland Yard. Like, the reason why I want this to be a series is because I need to know more about, like, how they became part of Scotland Yard, because their husbands were part of Scotland Yard, and that they were so good at, like, figuring out the mysteries and the murders and everything like that. It was just so well written and so good, and I really, really, really loved that. So we find that the brooch that Tabitha had from the beginning of the book that her mom just sort of like threw at her as like, ugh, this is trash, whatever, that was the key item that the real Countess needed and knew that made Tabitha her real grandchild. But then she found out that her son had twins, and one was a boy and one was a girl. And so we find that Barnaby and oh my goodness, what was her name? Barnaby and Frances are actually twins, and Viola and Edward are actually twins. And so Oliver is Tabitha's twin. So not only does she get adopted by the Countess and she doesn't have to become an orphan, but she automatically gains a brother, and she has found family. And that's one of my favorite tropes of all time in the whole entire world, is a found family trope. I feel like we need a prequel and a series. I could not agree more. I feel like we all need to like message the crap out of that author and let her know that like we need more. Like this was not enough. I would 1,000,000% recommend this book to other people, not just like because it's middle grade. I would recommend it to everyone. Cleo, you would too? I know. Cleo would also recommend it to everyone. So I am so glad that like we knocked it out of the park with this month's read. I thought that it was so good. See, yes, you would recommend the book. Yay! That makes me so happy, because it was just so good. All right. So the book for April, this one won with like a resounding, like, we want to read this one. I'm pretty sure that it won by a lot. Um, Let me see. So 41 people voted and it won by 56%. So that's pretty freaking awesome. Jenna, I already told a friend she needs to read it. Good. I'm glad. Well, here's hoping that April's book is another fantastic one. It's on Kindle. If you want to go on Kindle, it's $8.92. I will probably purchase it again through Fable and read it through the app because I really liked being able to talk to you guys while I was live reading it. And you guys can go and, like, when you're at that chapter, you can see sort of like my live thoughts at the time. So if you want to, you can go watch that video that I have about Fable. But I thought that was a really, really fun way to interact with everybody. Let me know, those that actually downloaded it and interacted with it, like, let me know. Do you guys like the Fable app? But basically it says Portland is famous for its rain, hipsters, craft beers, and coffee. Sage Kaplan has high hopes for her coffee cart, Ground Rules, and which she runs with her business partner, Harley, a genius at roasting beans and devising new blends. That's essential in a city where locals have intensely strong opinions about cappuccinos versus macchiatos, especially in the case of one of Sage's very first customers. Sage finds the man's body in front of her cart, a fatal slash across his neck. There's been plenty of anger in the air from longtime vendors annoyed at Ground Rules taking a coveted spot in the food truck lot. To protesters demonstrating against a new high-rise. But who was mad enough to commit murder? Sage is already fending off trouble in the form of her estranged con artist mother, who's trying to trickle back into her life. But when Sage's very own box cutter is discovered to be the murder weapon, she needs to focus on finding the killer fast before her business and her life come to a bitter end. Oh, it looks like people are recommending it. Yes, I'm excited to read the next book. I need to look into Fable. Yes, I have been having a lot of fun. And hey, Lacey, I'm sorry that you're here at the end, but I'm super happy that you're here. I am really, really stoked to read this book with you all. And of course, I already have designed the bookmark for this, so it should drop tomorrow, I think, the bookmark that I made. And yeah, I'm so happy that you guys came tonight and hung out with me for a little bit. I hope that you guys have a wonderful April. I will see you at the end of April or during my regular uploads. Always talk to me on Instagram. That's where I'm at predominantly. But yeah, I hope you guys have an amazing night, and I love you all. So bye. Good night.